Good gravy, everybody. It's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, or a boring time, depending on your perspective of the films. Now, there's going to be spoilers here for the film Solo, a Star Wars solo story, because we're going to be talking about the future of these kind of spin-off films and how this universe is going to spin off, if you will.
If indeed it will.
Yeah, off the end of the bloody soul. The Darth Maul's in it.
Yes, there we go. Spoilers. Do you hope that there's some spin-offs here?
Well, it depends how they're going to do it. So there's a few options of what they're going to do going forward.
Number one, movies.
Movies, definitely. Definitively. Mm-hmm. But no, there might be a Solo sequel.
Yep.
We're probably going to get a Boba Fett spin-off, and we're probably going to get an Obi Wan spin-off. And that looks like they could all very well sit within this time period after Solo.
You're telling me we've got about 5 years?
Yeah, I would say
what's
about
happening?
that.
3 to 5 years. Space years.
Space years, yeah.
Spears.
Those are hard years
Britney
as well.
Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah. Is there any definitive way you want to see these go? Is there a movie in particular of these three that you want, Mason?
Kind of. At this point, I would kind of like to see a Solo sequel.
Sure.
After having just seen, you were not as keen on this movie as I was.
Not as much.
I quite liked it, and I would like to see how we get from the end of Solo to Episode 4.
Right.
I would definitely like to see some more Darth Maul.
Sure.
I would like maybe some backstory on how he gets from being cut in half,
Yes,
to some robot legs,
yes,
to being a crime lord, to then his death in Rebels.
Yeah,
but a lot.
So you want to see the stuff that's not that stuff that
Yes.
they've already shown.
Yes, correct.
So there's a period in the lore after the Clone Wars where he gets thoroughly defeated and he just disappears.
Yeah, right.
And then next time we see him, he's kind of an old hermit man in Rebels. So you want to see the kind of the criminal empire that
The criminal
built.
empire, exactly. Yeah, and maybe I would be more than happy to see Han Solo or Boba Fett or Obi Wan.
Yeah.
Just crush that empire. Maybe in the Solo sequel or the Boba Fett or the Obi Wan, we see that whichever character it is versus the organized crime. I think that'd be great.
I think you'd have to maybe not do it being Han Solo because of he's never really seen anything like the Force.
Yeah, right.
By the time A New Hope rolls around, he's like, I don't know, man, I just fly spaceships and bang broads. That's what I do, man.
Or maybe it could be one of those situations where he's constantly foiling Maul's plans, but they never cross paths.
Right, yeah, sure.
Maul's always getting there too late and shaking his fist. Shaking his double-bladed lightsaber.
Absolutely. I think that's not the bad way to do it, because the problem I feel with this is, and you feel it's less of a problem, is that Darth Maul is definitively dead in the new canon.
We only have a limited amount of time for him to get anything done.
I think it might have been more interesting if we didn't know his fate, and you could have had him as this kind of Prince Zizor, or Prince Shizor, however we want to say it, character,
Yes.
this head of the underworld,
Yeah.
running things behind the scenes as also a direct competition to the Empire.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a really kind of interesting narrative you could develop, especially because he has inner workings of how the Emperor works, because he's been with him before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And also something I would also like to see, as apart from that, and I've mentioned this before, but it's kind of a pet project of mine, is Boba Fett as a Mr. Magoo, Inspector Gadget style, functional idiot who is always getting stuff wrong, but things always work out more or less for the best with him.
Until they don't.
And he's eaten by a Sarlacc. But that's I love that, because he's always painted as this badass character.
Yeah.
And he looks so dangerous, and there's all this fan lore, and there's all this expanded universe stuff where he's this cool calculating killer. But in the movies,
Dummy.
he's a dummy. So just either give us a movie where he's portrayed to be the badass that everybody thinks he is, or just keep rolling with that.
Yeah.
He just keeps tripping on things and accidentally shooting his prey or whatever, and everybody's like, "You've done it again, Boba Fett." And
we said no disintegrations, but
that's good for you, mate.
Yeah, good on him. No, I wouldn't mind seeing either of those versions. Do you think, though, the Boba Fett film is going to be set within this time period, or do you think they would go after Return of the Jedi, where he gets out of the Sarlacc?
I would like to see him out of the Sarlacc.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But then that takes away...
The movie could be called Straight Out of the Sarlacc.
Sure. But that also takes away the idea that he would take down the Darth Maul criminal
I'm fine with that.
organization.
Give that to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
How good would that be? Obi-Wan versus his sometime arch nemesis Darth Maul.
I think that'd be absolutely
That'd be
terrific.
great, right?
Because I've always wanted to see that in film. Obi-Wan and Darth Maul reunited.
How about this? Exactly. Obi-Wan, like a one-man army versus
an army.
a crime syndicate, an actual army.
Yeah,
that'd
absolutely.
be amazing. I think that'd be incredible.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially because he's not the Jedi that he used to be.
Yeah, but again, he's also like, he's supposed to be legendary.
Yeah.
You know, I just Just imagine him on a battlefield, just him versus like 100 guys.
Yeah.
Just chopping them to pieces.
Well, there's a Clone Wars, not the 3D animated one, the one before that, where Mace Windu's in a field and he's just barehanded fighting 1,000 battle droids.
Yes.
And it's an exaggeration of the stories, and it's no longer the narrative, but it's really fantastic.
Yeah,
So
right.
something to that.
That's what I want.
To that effect.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we give him Crimson Dawn.
Yep.
Boba Fett after the Sarlacc.
Yep.
Boba Fett and about. Han Solo sequel. Just he's smuggling a thing.
I think it would be interesting though.
He's smuggling a wacky kid.
Yeah.
You
could build the Emilia Clarke character more into the lore even after Return of the Jedi, because she ends up taking over the criminal organization.
That's right.
So maybe in the Jon Favreau TV series, which is set
It's set sexily, you better believe it.
which is set 6 years or so after Return of the Jedi, she's the criminal underworld boss.
Yeah, right.
She's like the anti-Princess Leia.
Yeah, right.
You know what I
okay.
mean? So Han Solo's married and he's had his kid or whatever, and there was this woman that he was in love with, but it's taken this kind of dark turn. And, you know, because she's a survivor the same way that he is, he's just made some different choices.
Yeah, right.
People are also saying, do you do there's a few ways you could cast Boba Fett, right? You could do young Boba Fett,
Yes.
right? And maybe get Daniel Logan back,
Yep.
who played the young Boba Fett in in Attack of the Clones, and he also voiced him in the Clone Wars series,
Right.
which I think is not a bad idea.
Or you could get Taika Waititi.
You could, he'd be, like an hilarious buffoon of a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. But the other thing I thought they could do,
I just joined the dots just then.
it all comes together.
That'd be so great.
He's wearing a sweet Hawaiian shirt under his armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. There was also rumors that when Josh Trank was going to do the Boba Fett film, that it was going to be Michael B. Jordan. So it's a mantle that somebody else takes up.
Right, okay.
Which I think is another way to do it.
Totally would work.
But I think there's a third option here. And what you do, you bring back the guy who played him originally, and
Yep.
is the original Jango Fett, and you do it Old Man Logan style with an old, broken down Boba Fett, the same way that Han Solo was old and slower in
Yeah, right,
The Force
okay,
Awakens.
sure.
So you do it that way. He's obviously, I thought James Mangold
Gran Torino, but it's Slave One.
but it's Slave One, exactly. I think, because he's no longer the baddest bounty hunter in the galaxy, which
Yeah, right.
arguably he never was. He's kind of a shadow of his former self. So maybe he could do
He's
it in
barely
that
tripping
direction.
over 2 feet a day, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, because people were saying, why doesn't James Mangold do the Obi Wan movie? Because that's kind of seems
It's his
very similar
wheelhouse.
to Logan. But maybe you could do that, but with the Boba Fett character.
right.
Also, people forget, Tamawir Morrison, whose name I'm definitely saying wrong, is a terrific actor.
I think it's Temawera.
Temawera Morrison. Thank you, Mason. If you ever seen Once Were Warriors, he's just this lunatic of a man. He's kind of a crime guy, but he's mostly just a bad dad.
That's a perfect subtitle. Boba Fett, kind of a crime guy.
Kind of a
crime guy.
Bit of a bad
dad. Yeah.
So I think that guy's got more range than I think a lot of mainstream audiences have seen him in.
Yeah, right.
Also, he's in 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford.
Oh, hello.
So there's
So he's got that Ford pedigree.
He certainly does. So I think that's not something that should necessarily be ruled out. I mean, I'm sure they've already decided how they're going to do this film regardless.
Yeah.
But maybe
It was figured out before we were born,
Yeah.
and it'll be continuing after we die.
Yeah. As someone who's never wanted to see a Boba Fett film, really, I think it's a good choice of a director, and there are some interesting options you could take.
Agreed.
And also Darth Maul, maybe. Maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
What about Darth Maul versus Boba Fett?
Would that be just two guys falling over? Just quickly before we wrap this up, a
Yes.
solo sequel,
Uh-huh.
right? You're like, I want to see a solo sequel. Do you want to see like a Lando-heavy solo sequel? Because I think he probably wasn't. I would have liked to see more of that character
Yep.
in Solo.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we know from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi
Yeah.
that they have had many adventures together. This can't be it. The Solo can't be their only adventures together.
Yeah.
And also, they end with that. It literally ends with Lando being like, "I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you so much."
Well, he
So-
hates him, and then he goes back and takes his ship.
Yeah.
So you could have that be the last time they saw each other before Cloud City, but there's definitely wiggle room there.
No,
for
you
them to
can't.
do-
No, you very much can't. I mean, you can. Logically, you can.
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I want them to team up again.
Yeah, I agree. But so, like, just a film that's just those two, maybe?
Well, see, what we can do is because maybe we can have the idea for the sequel is that Han and Chewie have to go off on some smuggling adventure, and Lando can't quite let go of the ship and the droid that he loves who's in the ship.
Yeah.
And so he has to go on, he demands to go on like one last adventure with them.
Right.
Even though it's dangerous, he's like, I'm not letting this ship out of my sight. And then maybe we have him finally let go of the ship and whatever. And then we have them all come to an understanding. How about that?
And they all shake hands?
And they all do it.
They might.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it doesn't go well because Lando doesn't like him by the time Empire Strikes Back.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's a selfish lover,
I
Han
knew
Solo.
it. He seems like he would be.
Yeah, right? Exactly, yeah.
Fantastic. I think that's what the fans want.
Yeah, definitely.
But I tell you what, if you're watching this and you have any ideas for a Solo sequel, where the Boba Fett film should go, the Obi Wan spin-off, and what they should do with Darth Maul, even though he's already dead,
So dead.
please let us know what you think that might be.
Yes, please.
And also, there's videos here every Tuesday, Sunday, Thursday, not in that order.
Oh.
And we also have a podcast called The Weekly Planet, where recently we did a solo episode where one of us was banging on about how real great it was, and the other one was like, eh.
I was the one who thought it was really
Yes,
great. Yeah.
but you can listen to it. It's linked below. And you
Nice.
can find all that also at planetbroadcasting.com. Thank you very much for your time.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.